I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Now, from the Autoglass America studios, it's the Mike Calta After Show.
Call security! We met young Ryan Hoppy. Ryan.
Okay, and your name?
Ryan Hoppy.
Okay, Ryan Hoppy. Where do you live?
Arlington Heights.
Ah, so you're from the rich north suburbs.
What's going on, Ryan Hoppy? This is Tony Romo.
Your buddy Ryan Hoppy.
No one knows who Ryan Hoppy is.
You never have to worry about offending Ryan Hoppy.
Isn't he like 7 foot tall?
He's 7 foot tall. He's
a kid.
right.
He's
got good mentors.
and he's motivated.
Happy hour. Happy hot topic.
What's going on, Tampa? What's going on, Clearwater, St. Pete, wherever you are listening? This is Happy Hour, filling in for Carmen on the Mike Calta After Show. I am your host, Ryan Hoppy. Call the show at 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. You can tweet at me where the poll of the day is at Ryan Hoppy Radio. And if you're old school, you can always email me, ryanhoppyradio@gmail.com. And if you're listening, you can go to my Twitter right now and give me a follow at Ryan Hoppy Radio. My poll of the day is very easy. It's very simple. When you go out drinking, do you pay for Lyft or Uber? And Tampa Bay has voted. I put out the poll around 6 a.m. this morning, and 85% of you said yes, and 15% of you said no. Now, I want this to be a fun after show. I want to hear from the neighbors. I want to hear from the listeners, 727-579-1025. But also, if you're a Lyft driver or an Uber driver, hell, if you're an old school taxi driver, a cab driver, call me and let me know about some of the drunkest people you've ever had to deal with. Because I have a news clip here, and this is from ABC Action News, and it took place in Ybor City. It says, Uber driver helps passengers to safety after Ybor City shooting. And let me tell you, a good rideshare driver or a good taxi driver is incredibly underrated. I mean, there is nothing better than when you've gone out for a night of drinking and you just get into that Uber or that Lyft safely. And I don't know about you, Tampa, but what I'll do is when it's crazy out there and it's very packed and there's these surge charges, what I do is I walk like 4 blocks away and then the prices go down. And I also check between Lyft, and then I check between Uber, and usually one of them is cheaper. And it's always the fact that when I get into the Uber, my phone is like, warning, you're at 20% because I have the iPhone. And there is no better feeling than when you get into that Uber and you're pretty drunk, because it's like, even if the Uber is to get into a car crash, you're safe. You know what I mean? You have nothing to worry about. Now, the worst part is when they go really fast. It's frightening because then you're like, I remember I was in Ybor City like 3 years ago, and the dude is probably going 90 down to Howard Franklin. And I'm just like, very nervous. It was a weird time. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. And then the other thing that I love about Uber drivers, the really good ones, when you're turned up in the car, man, I have not said that since I first moved here. When you're really drunk, the best part is the good Uber drivers will make sure you get home safely. Because I had a bad one about 3 weeks ago. Now, I completely get that people need to make money, and I did Uber for a little bit. You don't make that much money. You make pennies. And especially with the gas prices now, I completely get if they need to make every penny they can make. but I was leaving the press box with my friend on Dale Mabry. Shout out. That was my first time there. This was after Game 7 against the Maple Leafs, and they had the best wings I've ever had at the press box. It was phenomenal. But my friend, I live in St. Pete, so I had to go. The Uber drove all the way across the bridge because I'm not going to drive. And my friend lives down the block from Dale Mabry. Like, it wasn't out of the way. It wasn't using any gas. I mean, the same gas was going to be used either way. And the guy was like, well, unless you pay, you're not going to get into my car. And now I get that my friend probably should have offered or paid something. But when you see somebody so inebriated and turned up, I keep saying that, Jesus, and you're drunk, there has to be a little bit of a human side to it where you go, okay, I will forgive this person because I want them to get home safely. Because this was going on around 12:30, which, man, in St. Pete, like downtown St. Pete, if you're out at 1 or 2 in the morning around like Crafty Squirrel and Janice Live, it's not that much to worry about. But, man, if you're out past 1 a.m. in Ybor City, it's a weird vibe. Like, Ybor City is awesome. If you're listening in Ybor City, I appreciate it. If you're driving down, Ybor City during the day is bizarre because it's got weird vibes. But then, like, once the sun goes down, it turns wild. The thing that makes me very frightened about going to Ybor City, and I've been there maybe 30 times in 7 years. I used to go all the time. I love it. The problem is it feels like it can go crazy at any second. Like, when you're in Ybor City, there's like an edge to it where you're wondering, when are things going to go wrong? And I will play the news clip in a second, but we have 2 calls that are on hold, and I don't like making people wait on hold, so let's get to them. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, man? I love the show, and I just wanted to say, especially when I go out and drinking, I definitely get an Uber home. I definitely go out and get plastered, so last thing I want is a DUI.
Yeah, and what's your name?
Nick.
Nick, when you go out, isn't there like a sense of like relief when that Uber picks you up, especially if it's crowded and like, let's say it's like Christmas or something where people are out drinking and there's all the different Ubers? Don't you feel like accomplished when you sit down and you put on the seatbelt and you're like, whatever happens is going to happen, but at least I'm safe in a car?
Yeah, I definitely feel relieved. Definitely feel like in a safe environment. Once you sit down, put the seatbelt on, have the AC hit you, you just sit back and relax,
Yeah, the thing is, have you ever looked at your Uber rating?
No.
I looked at it a while ago. I forget how to find it. It's kind of hard to find, and honestly, don't look at it because I thought I was a pretty good passenger, but back in my early 20s, I didn't pick up on social cues as much, so I would just talk a lot. So I think a lot of them were annoyed by my drunken talking at 3 a.m. But it's like, you're like, come on, man, I wasn't that bad. It's very bizarre to see.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your etiquette? Two things. Do you tip the driver, and are you a person, if the driver is actually bad, do you ever give them a bad rating? If I have a bad driver, I give them a 3 out of 5 is my thing. I don't give a 1 because that's bad energy, but I'll give you a 3 or 2.
I tend to stand by like the $10 tip rule just about in general, because I feel like they're going out of their way to pick me up at like 3, 4, in the morning. So I try to at least do that. And I haven't really had any bad drivers, especially when drinking. I've had bad drivers, Uber drivers going to the airport. They miss the exit and they're like, oh man, I got to turn around. It'll be 20 minutes. I'm like, well, I'm one of those that go last minute. So that's my fault.
My thing too, bro, what I got to do is I have to pregame before I go out, because if you're going out sober and then you take an Uber, it's very awkward. But if you drink a little bit, then it takes off the edge, because it's very bizarre, because it came out around 2015, 2014. I know a cab driver is also a random person, but you're literally going into a random person's car. It's one of the most bizarre inventions of the last 22 years.
Yeah, I love it, though. It's definitely saved me, countless days and nights, It's just not the risk, not the risk I'm willing to take. So I just take the Uber.
What are some fun plans you have this weekend, if any?
This week, I mean, I planned on going out on the boat, but this storm coming, it's kind of messed up those plans. So I think probably just going to stay probably local, hit some bars, and, kind of have like a mellow weekend. Nothing too crazy with the storm coming.
Well, I'm going to try to go out on a Saturday night, so if you see me for any reason, come say hi, because I'll be out. I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing, but I might go out, so.
Yeah, I'll look on the socials, see where you're going to be.
All right, bro. Message me, and I'll talk to you. Sounds good, bro?
Yeah, man. Have a great one.
All right, you too. Peace. There's me making friends on the radio. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, Poppy?
What's happening? What's your name?
My name is Ray.
What's going on, Ray?
Well, I have a little something weighing on me I'd like to talk to you about. I'm a long-time listener, recently started calling in the past couple of months, and I was the last person to play Google today, and when you hung up on me, Mike said, I think you should go ahead and give Ray the tickets.
All right. Did you want the tickets to the Ronnie D show on Sunday?
Well, I mean, I really don't care. I have never won anything here, whatever you're offering, but Motley Crue would be cool, but I'm not going to be picky.
All right. Is it cool if you wait on hold for about 10 minutes and then I'll get to you? I didn't mean to hang up fast, my man. I appreciate you listening, Ray. Is it cool if I put you on hold?
No. What? It's protocol. I know it's your protocol, so I don't blame you. It just was unfortunate.
Oh, no. I'm really glad you called in, because one of the worst feelings is when any show ever goes, hey, we're going to give them the prize, and then I hung up. So it makes my day, and I'm not just kidding, knowing that you called back. So just wait on hold for like 10 minutes. Is that cool?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, bro. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Ryan.
What's happening? What's your name?
My name is Paul. I was a photographer, took a picture of you at LBC, the Punch-Out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to talk to you about getting into somebody's car if you're inebriated. One of the things that I don't mind driving you home, but if you're that inebriated and you puke in my car, that's a problem for me.
Has that happened to you?
A number of times in Ybor City. So, I kind of avoid that area now, even though it makes money out that way. I kind of...
I don't know if you've gone drinking in Ybor. Have you? Like drinking Ybor?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I've noticed out of anywhere in the Tampa Bay area, shots are given out the most in Ybor. Like there'll be beautiful women that go, hey, do you want to try out this shot? Because they're trying to get you to buy it. And a lot of times these bros, or if it's me going out, whatever I identify as a radio guy, whatever. When you go out, you've had beer and maybe a Red Bull and vodka, and then when you begin mixing in the shots, I think that's what causes the puking. Because I've never puked in an Uber, but nights that I've gone to Ybor, it's happened at home. There's something about Ybor, man. You just lose yourself. It's bizarre.
No, I understand that. It's just that, when you say they're kind of rude and we rush to get you someplace. So part of that rush is to keep your inner stuff inside of you and not inside my car.
Oh yeah, and I mean the worst has been like there's times that like I don't feel like I'm going to, but then it feels like it's beginning to manifest when the Uber driver's going like 80. Some they are maniacs, especially down the Howard Franklin. If it's like midnight or 1 a.m. when there's no cars out, which I never get the people that speed on the bridges when there's no one out, because the cops, the FHP are just looking to get the tickets for the quota. It's
of course
it's beyond obvious.
Of course they are. Well, that's all I had to say. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I hope you do the punch out again. You were good.
I will. Thank you, sir. I was so I found this hard drive, which actually ended up giving my computer viruses for some reason. But it had every one of my radio shows I've ever done back to 2012. But that's not the point. But on there, it had the punch out that I did win in 2016, and I showed it to my girlfriend. And it was the most 2016 video ever, because I was wearing basketball shorts for the punch out when I fought Jake from the Crowded Table, and my basketball shorts were beginning to fall, and you could see my underwear, and I was like, oh my God, was I sloppy hoppy in 2016. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Let's go to this call. Hi.
Sloppy happy, what's going on?
What's your name?
My name is John. How you doing, buddy?
What's happening, bro?
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to Uber and Lyft, because if it wasn't for them, there'd be a lot of drunk drivers on the road. And I used them around Christmas time with my son. We went down to St. Pete, and we live up in Largo, and they brought us home, and no problem. But I just want to give a shout out, just a little heads up to people. Watch when you get charged for them, because I used them today. I dropped off a car to get worked on yesterday, and I used them 3 times. I looked on my account, and there was 6 charges from Uber. Some of them were duplicated. Some of them were times were way off. So you got to kind of watch that. Now I got to go through the whole rigmarole of fighting with them and trying to get a refund. And I don't even know how to contact Uber.
They're the worst to contact. I did Uber Eats like 2 weeks ago, and I live in St. Pete, like in the middle of St. Pete, where there's like nine Mickey D's near me. It's not like I live in like Land O'Lakes where there's one McDonald's. And I really wanted 2 filet fishes after a night of drinking. So I go home, and the weirdest thing happened. All the Mickey D's are open past 1, but they chose the one, which is a very good one, at the Walmart in Pinellas Park on US 19, but that Walmart closes at 10, and that was the only one that was giving me the option. So it went through like 4 drivers, and then they're like, the Walmart's closed. And I'm like, what do you mean the Walmart's closed? And for some reason it chose that one, which that McDonald's is amazing, but I was sad. Yeah, so Uber's very hard to get a hold of. And I think they do that purposely. I don't think they want to have people reach them.
I know, but when you look on there and you could actually see the account and the time they came and would pick you up, and 2 of them were the same ones, so I don't know if I'm getting charged for them. And there was another one, the times were completely off from when I used them, because I know when I did, so I don't know. You just got to kind of watch what you're getting charged for.
You know what's the worst?
Thing I could say.
I don't know if you've ever taken an Uber after a night of drinking, but
Yes,
have
I
you?
have.
Okay, the worst feeling, my man. The worst feeling is when you realize it's not going to get cheaper. When you realize you can't walk anywhere to get it cheaper, and you go, I'm going to be paying $40. And you're like, at least I'm not getting a DUI. But then you look at, they hung up. You look at your bank account, and you're like, man, I lost some money. 727-579-1025. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Ray again. I'm just on hold.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot. All right, let's go to this call. Hi. Man, what is going on with the phones? They're tripping out. Hi, you're on the air.
Thank you for using callmylostphone.com.
Let me tell you about callmylostphone.com. They call the bone all weekend long. It is hilarious. That in the Sarasota prison. Hi, you're on the air. All right. What's going on? Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, it's Joshua.
What's happening, Joshua? What's going on, man?
Hey, listen, the Uber thing.
Yeah, what's happening?
The Uber thing, really quick. So we were on the cruise, the one that just happened recently, and I left my whole suit, my entire suit in the front seat. So I forgot it and went home, and then I realized, oh, crap. So I was like, it's probably going to be, take a while to try to get a hold of Uber.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty easy, pretty awesome, pretty simple. They pretty much just, as soon as I reached out to the contact under my profile, they texted me the whole entire time and said, okay, we'll contact driver and have him reach out to you. He reached out to me within 24 hours.
I think they got better over time, because I feel like 5 years ago they sucked. But didn't they go through like new owners and a new CEO? Because there's that whole show on Showtime with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I'm not going to watch, which talked about how bad Uber was. So I think they got better because some bad things were happening in Ubers 5 years ago. People were
100%.
getting raped, and it was bad, man.
100%. Yeah, I could pretty much just speak to, after we got off the cruise back in March, that incident happened, and they got back to me ASAP. And I was like, this is pretty crazy. And they messaged me the whole entire time. They're like, you don't have to call us. We'll just text you.
Wait, did you go on the Celtic cruise?
Yeah, it's me, Josh from Tampa.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm talking live on the radio. I had no idea that it was my good friend Josh from the cruise. How mad were you 3 weeks ago? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 1025 The Bone audience, this is the man that I went to press box with that I talked about at the beginning of the segment. Josh, how mad were you that night when the Uber driver was like, no, I'm not driving you?
Oh, my goodness. That was crazy, right? I was like, dude, I literally live right down the street.
I know.
I ended up walking. It was all good.
Why didn't
So
you?
whatever, man.
I don't know. I'm just glad you got home safely because I woke up at like noon the next day and I was like,
Yeah.
I hope Josh is okay. Josh, let's
Dude,
hang
fun
out this
time.
weekend, bro. Got it?
Let's do something soon, man. All right, cool. Cheers.
I bet there's nothing more unique than hearing plans being made on the radio. I mean, there's been worse radio.
It's the Mike Calta After Show on 102.5 The Bone. Now, back to the Mike Calta After Show.
Happy hour. Happy hour. Whoa! Happy hot topic.
Welcome back. I am your host, Ryan Hoppy, filling in for Carmen on the Mike Calta After Show. 727-579-1025. 1-800-771-1025. You can tweet at me at Ryan Hoppy Radio. You can always email me, RyanHoppyRadio@gmail.com. And today's poll, let me look at the results, at Ryan Hoppy Radio, was, have you ever taken an Uber or a Lyft after a night of drinking? And we have a lot more votes, but the percentage is the same. 86% said yes, and 14% said no. I teased that I was going to play the clip, and then I took the calls from all of Tampa, which I deeply appreciate. So without further ado, this is from ABC Action News, which I think is one of the best local news in all of America. I'm from Chicago. I lived in Cleveland. Their local news was aight. That means okay in urban terms. But in Chicago, it was great, obviously. But in Tampa, man, we got some of the best news reporters. And here is Wendy Ryan from ABC Action News talking about how an Uber driver helped passengers to safety after the Ybor City shooting.
Dashcam footage shows the chaos after shots were fired in Ybor City over the weekend. This video is from an Uber driver who jumped into action to help get people to safety. ABC Action News reporter Mary O'Connell spoke to that man about this incident.
Thad Torix was in Ybor City working as an Uber driver, getting ready to pick some people up, when suddenly
I hear what is unquestionably the sound of gunfire.
Torix's dash cam was rolling at that very moment. You can see here as people start to scatter.
And I'm worried for the passengers.
Tampa police say around 3 a.m. Sunday, several shots were heard from a parking lot at the intersection of 7th Avenue and 15th Street.
Yeah, you don't want to be out that late.
I messaged the young lady who has hired the Uber, and I just said, this is where I am. We need to get you in this vehicle now. It's not safe to be here. It's time to go. And at first, she messaged and said, hey, we're locked inside the Ritz. They won't let us out. And I said, well, I'm not going anywhere. I have daughters.
I hope this Uber driver got the greatest tip of all time.
As this was happening, Torix's dash cam captured the moment passengers piled into his car to get to safety.
That was actually terrifying.
When the pickup group was finally able to get to his truck, Torix told them to put as many people as they need in his car to get away from the area.
I did that. Remember when the championship game for NCAA, I don't know that much about college sports. I think it was Auburn and Clemson in like 2017. I did that. I was at the Burger King across the block from Raymond James, and there was like maybe 8 people. It was like 4 bros and 4 women, and they were from South Carolina, which I believe is where Clemson's at. I don't know that much about it. And they're like, hey, is it cool if we bring in a few more of my friends? And I was like, I think so.
Can we shove everyone in because we want to get them out of Ybor safe?
Torix says over the last 28 years, he spent most of his life as a paramedic and flight paramedic, and for about 10 of those years, he was a police officer too. And at this moment, something else kicked in.
First, be a good human. It feels good to do good, so do good things. Help these people. The next thing was probably dad. I am a dad, and dad mode right away kicks in.
I like this guy. What I like about him is that he didn't give up, because a lot of Uber drivers would be like, I want to save my own life. But I like the fact that he did not give up. 727-579-1025 and 1025. Here's some news from ABC News.
To that mid-air scare, both pilots on a flight from New York to Rome allegedly falling asleep and failing to respond to air traffic control for over 10 minutes. Our transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez at LaGuardia Airport. Good morning, Gio.
What's weird about flying is like you never know what's going on in the, just the front of it. You never know what's going on at all when you're at an airport. It's very nerve-wracking. You're literally putting your life in their hands while flying in the air. It's frightening.
Hey, Michael, good morning. This is truly unsettling. The two pilots allegedly falling asleep 38,000 feet in the air. Now,
the reporter loves saying that to be dramatic. Make sure you bring up that it was 38,000 feet. It sounds scarier.
This was a massive plane, an Airbus 330, with as many as 250 passengers on board. It was a flight from JFK to Rome last month and over France. While the first officer was on his designated sleeping break, investigators say the captain allegedly fell asleep too. Air traffic controllers losing contact for about 10 minutes. They were so concerned, fighter jets were prepared to intercept, but the pilots eventually started responding. ITA Airways, previously known as Alitalia, says the captain claimed that the radio stopped working, but investigators found no issues. Now, ITA says it has fired the captain, and we should tell you, after all of that, that plane did land safely.
What I often wonder when things like this happen and they let the person go is, how do you bring this up in your next job interview? They're like, hey, so can we trust you, Jeff? Yeah, I like to sleep during plane rides, but besides that, no big deal. Which, when I'm flying, not when I'm flying, but when I'm a passenger on a plane, I can't sleep. Number one, because even if I get more room, it's the same as anything else because I'm so tall. And number two, it's very hard for me to sleep while in the air. So you literally have to be a sociopath if you were able to sleep while flying. I get that you're used to it, and it's probably not a big deal to you, but the weirdest thing, I think it's happened a few times, but I remember it happened like 15 years ago because I was in the car when they announced it on the radio. But there was like a guy who was flying that was drunk, and I was like, man, that is just not a good choice. But you know what is a good choice is going to the phones. Hi, you're on the air. Hi, you're on the radio talking to 10 million kajillion people. What's your name?
Jeremy.
What's going on?
I just wanted to give a shout out to my best friend that just recently passed away. His name was Bubby Woe, and he was a great dude. And he liked listening to y'all's show. I like listening to every single one of you guys. You guys are awesome. But Bubby Woe was a great dude, man.
What's your favorite memory of your friend?
I got so many favorite memories, but one time I was on my way to a job interview, and my car got declined. He just happened to be driving right by me. He stopped. I told him, man, my car got declined. He went in the store. I didn't even know it. He stood up my thing.
Dude, that's a good friend, man. I'm sorry he passed. How do you want him to be remembered? What was some of the best parts about him?
He was a guy that gave his heart to everybody that deserved it, that needed it. He gave everybody a chance, no matter what. And he was the biggest Bucks fan ever. He had the biggest collection of Bucks memorabilia I've ever seen. And he was a diehard Bone fan too. And I just want him to be remembered as like the guy with the biggest heart, and he always looked out, no matter what.
Well, my man, I can tell that you have a big heart too. So a lot of times you're not sure what to say, but just know that I'm sending good vibes your way. I am so sorry, my man.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Well, that's not awesome, but you know what I'm saying. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Now, I grew up listening to EDM music. I love it. It's my favorite thing. I know a lot of the Bone audience is probably into rock and roll music, probably thinks it sounds like robots having sex. But EDM music was very popular. It was house music in the 90s, and it was dance music, and then it became EDM music like in the early 2010s. And it really defined a generation. My graduation class of 2012, I didn't partake in this, but a lot of my friends now have brain damage because they were just popping ecstasy at these warehouse parties in Chicago like it was a vitamin. It was unbelievable. And one of my closest friends isn't necessarily brain dead, but he's lived at home for the last 10 years, and he was a cool basketball player growing up. He was going to go to LSU, and then he went to Iowa because he couldn't get into it because his grades were fading. So EDM music, if you're not a millennial, you don't get how big it was. It died around 2015, but for those 4 years, man, all those guys were huge. One of them was Diplo, and he is big now. Like, yeah, they're getting like millions of listens, but they're just not as relevant. And this is proof that they're not as relevant. So Diplo was the DJ for the Cannes party, for the Cannes Fest. And sounds like I was very invited because I know the official name of it. Well, he was booked as the DJ, and he was denied entry. And I'll get to the news clip in a second. But what's funny is you don't really know what these DJs look like. So it's quite possible that they just thought he was some Joe Schmo. Because a lot of times when I'm listening to like my old favorite EDM songs from growing up, I'll click on the page and it'll show what the DJ looks like. And you're like, I could have met that guy outside of Winn-Dixie and had no idea that he had hits. But without further ado, let's find out how Diplo did not get into the party he was invited to.
Plead with security in Cannes to let him into the party he's booked to DJ. The celeb shares a hilarious video of his attempt to access a Cannes festival yacht where he says he's supposed to be. He captions the video, quote, "I was booked to DJ a yacht party in Cannes, but security wouldn't let me in."
To be fair, he is wearing a sweater and he has blue hair like it's 2005. So like I said, we don't know what the official DJs look like. But man, oh man, maybe dress a little better, dress like you deserve to be there, command the room. I'm just saying, like, you're going to be playing the same music, but maybe just wear a suit and tie, be classy for once. But we are talking about an EDM DJ here.
As he goes back and forth with the event's gatekeepers, Diplo adds in text that he realized, quote, "The yacht was empty, so I was about to take the L and go get food." To be honest, can't blame him when up against this level of guest list scrutiny.
It's bizarre when you look at these videos of like these famous people on their yachts and you're just like, they have so much money in their bank account that they're able to afford a yacht because they're going to die at the end of the day someday and they go to the bathroom. That's my like rule about when rich people act like they're better than you. I go, you're no different than us. You just got more money in your bank account. And it's crazy how he's just a famous DJ with a yacht. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's bizarre to think about.
Luckily for the superstar DJ, the owner of the boat realized what was happening and invited him behind the velvet rope. He says alongside his vid, "Next time, I'm adding myself to the guest list."
You do that, bro. It'll work out for you. Definitely not commanding the room. Also, it's got to be weird when the guy that owns the place lets you in. Like, have you ever, like, not been allowed into, like, a nightclub? This hasn't happened to me, but I've heard about it. And then the, like, owner lets you in, and then what happens is the security guards look annoyed that you're being let in. That's what happened. I know this is radio, so you couldn't see the footage, but they looked annoyed. Like, I almost think the security guards knew that it was Diplo, and he comes in wearing a sweater and blue hair, and they're like, let's just mess with him, because, I mean, come on now. Hi, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, you're on the air. Hi, you're on the radio. That was the best call today. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Going back to my very slightly crude comment about how we all die at the end of the day and we all go to the bathroom, I feel the same way about politicians and their families when they get away with committing crimes or whatever. And I haven't voted for 8 years. I despise our president. I despised our previous president. I was indifferent about Obama because I'm from Chicago. I despised Bush. I think Bill Clinton's weird. So I hate all politicians. I think they're all scumbags. I think it's all a power trip. They're the kids that were ignored at the playground, and now they want a power trip. And Nancy Pelosi's husband got a DUI. And I know this was a few days ago. But let me tell you, I think it's utterly ridiculous that there has been no coverage of it. because the liberal media, and this is not me going down a conspiracy route, but the liberal media, the Today Show, Good Morning America, they talk about it for 40 seconds. Can you imagine if Melania Trump would have got a DUI, or Junior, or Eric, any of them, Ivanka, they would be crucified. But when it's everyone's favorite princess, Nancy Pelosi, we're protecting them? Utterly ridiculous. Nancy Pelosi is just, she's awful. All of them are awful. But she just gives me the vibe like she thinks she's better than you. She thinks she's above you. And it's just infuriating. It really makes me feel so unimportant. And I know I should feel unimportant at all times because we're here for a short time and then we die. But it's like they get away with it just because they're elected. Infuriating. It makes me so mad. And then there were rumors about Hunter Biden that he's sharing Pornhub clips with his dad. And he's like, they took his phone and his computer and he sent a Pornhub clip or two to Joe's text. And I'm like, what a weird family. All of them, everybody.
Husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was arrested over the weekend on suspicion of DUI. The 82-year-old was taken into custody late Saturday in Napa County, California, after being involved in a car accident. No one was injured in the crash.
Here's the thing, too. Because nobody died, which I'm glad nobody died, but it's not getting any attention because then the original lead will go, oh, well, he's a crazy old man. He didn't know what he was doing, blah, 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 da-da-da. But you better believe if a life was taken, it'd be a little bit different. It's just infuriating. Also, why is an 82-year-old man driving while drinking? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against old people being on the road, but if this was any other average Joe out there, their license would be taken. But, oh, you're married to the likable princess known as Nancy Pelosi. Oh, you should have everything given to you.
The House Speaker wasn't with her husband at the time. She was in Rhode Island to deliver the commencement address at Brown University.
I would not want to be the person that had to tell Nancy Pelosi that her husband got a DUI. Because I feel like when you have to break news to Nancy Pelosi that's negative, it's probably not like good energy. I feel like even giving her good news, she doesn't give me vibes like she's a team player, like she's someone you want to intern for, like she's someone you want to work for. And I assume her commencement speech was probably great. It was probably a liberal school because she was invited. So everyone's excited to see her. So she walks off and she's like, yeah, I had a great speech. And then they're like, yeah, you know, your husband, he got a DUI. I don't know. It's sad. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Let's go to the phones real quick. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, on with Hoppy?
Yeah, man, what's happening? It's me.
Hey, man, can you play some Dead Air?
Dead Air?
Yeah, can you play some Dead Air?
Okay. And there is your request for some Dead Air. Hi, you're on the air. Well, the guy did. Hi, you're on the air. You're on the radio talking to a lot of people. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man?
What's going on?
I was actually calling. My son is a huge Raw fan. I was wondering if y'all could possibly hook me up with tickets.
I am not sure.
And it's really the only thing that we connect on. So I was wondering if you could hook it up for me.
Well, my man, I can't just give out prizes. I wish I could because I would hook you up. But listen to the top 10 list at 135 and listen to Dead Guy in the Envelope at 1225, and I'm sure we'll be giving them away. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I wish you'd stop, trying to parrot Mike or anybody else or the Fox News. And I'm sorry, dude. I know you sound like a nice guy, but I really can't. Your voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Please.
So is yours, bud. Hi, you're on the air. Hi, you're on the radio, 941-35 whatever.
Hello?
Yeah, do you have it on Bluetooth or speaker? This is chaos. What's going on? Hi.
Wait a minute. Hello?
Yeah, hi, you're on the radio to a lot of people. What's going on? 941.
I just want to say I hate that Nancy Pelosi. I can't stand the woman.
Oh, now I love the call. And I don't vote. I don't care. But isn't she just repulsive?
Huh? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
she gives me the vibes
If she's
like.
on the TV, I change the channel.
Yeah, and the thing about her, too, that I really didn't like, in the beginning of COVID, you could do whatever you want, or not really, but I'm saying you could believe or think whatever you want. And she was all about wear the masks. And then she was not wearing a mask in the beginning of COVID.
Did you ever see her put one on?
What happened?
That's a little bit like do as I say, not as I.
Where if you make her mad and it's her fault, she'll blame it on everybody else. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and because she has all the power, everyone believes her. Like, you can't even go up against her.
No, she's right. She's the one. She's God's gift to who I don't know, but not to more people than I know. A lot of people that can't stand.
Well, you are
Not
God's gift to me for giving me the call. Any fun plans this weekend?
Huh?
I said, do you have any fun plans this weekend?
Well, about a year and a half ago, I found out that my mother had a child that she gave up for adoption, and he found me. So I'm going to meet him in about 3 weeks.
Are you nervous?
No, well, we've been talking on Messenger and filming.
Oh, that's cool. So then it's not as like weird because then you feel like you know the person more.
Right. He's got my mother's eyes. I look at his eyes in the pictures of him, and everyone says I have my mother's eyes. So.
Well, I appreciate the call. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I hope you have a great time meeting
And
your...
I hope you do, too.
Awesome. Thank you.
And my name is Sherry, by the way.
Sherry, it was good to talk to you. And if you're near a car, make sure, or if you're in your car, rather, listen to 102.5 this weekend because we have the best radio going on.
Hey, listen, I don't allow any other channels on in my car.
Damn right. This is why you're awesome. Have a good day.
Yeah.
All righty. We have 6 calls coming in. The phone lines are blowing up, but we are out of time. So let me do some quick info for you. Up next is Roger and JP with Monica. And today, myself, I won't be talking on air, but if you call in, you'll hear me doing phones. 727-579-1025 and 1-800-771-1025. Then it's Drew Garabo Live. Then it's A Cat Named Mo and Johnny B. And then Calta Replays and Roger and JP in the overnight. And it's Saturday from 5 to 8 a.m. It's Tampa Bay Fishing Radio with Captain Zach and Gray Burchell. From 8 to 9 a.m., a very good show. It is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Then from 9 to 10, it's the best of Ask the Dom. Then from 10 to 11, it's the Weekly Checkup. Then 11 to 2, it's Miggs and Swig. And then it's the Mike radio show from 2 to 4. And if you want to hear more of what I do, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. All you got to do is go to every single major platform that has a podcast, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Odyssey, and search up Hoppe Radio, HOPPE Radio. And that's about it. I'm going to end this show by giving somebody the last word. Hi, you're on the air. We're about to end the show. How should we end the show? Got any final words?
Yeah. Jesus loves you. Don't forget.
Hell yeah. I wish he was real.
Happy Hour. Happy Hour.